It's going to be a 5 to 7 minute speech. Madam Timer is going to be about site evaluation for commercial playgrounds. Please help me welcome our second speaker, Bryan Swanson.
Good day, all. How are y'all doing today?
Good.
Great.
I think I'm supposed to say hello to all fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. Is that the line?
Yeah.
I believe so. I'm going to pass out a little, I don't know how many of these will make it around, but I'm going to pass these out for site evaluation, and there's probably about 6 on each side. Some of y'all may need to share. It's just going to give you a little bit of an overview. I didn't realize there was going to be that many people here, and so I would have printed off more, so sorry about that. I apologize. Today I'll be speaking about site evaluation for commercial playgrounds. I sell commercial playground equipment. Every playground is different. Every situation is different. This is actually speech number 5 for me, so I'm supposed to move and shake a whole bunch and do that kind of thing, which actually Mary probably did a great job of that and really did a lot of body movement, so I'd like to steal some of that. Other than that, I'll probably just stand here cold stone. But during a site evaluation, there are a few critical things that you want to check, and I'm just going to touch on 3 of them, which are going to be your major points when you're going out for a site evaluation. So typically, most of the people that I've worked with I've developed like a site or, a playground that you see in front of you, and I've been working on a design with them, and once they've chosen the design that they like, I'll go out to the site to do my due diligence to make sure, number 1, that it fits, number 2, that the elevation will fit within the playground, and then number 3, the access points into the area, and then also the access point from the staging area into where the playground is going to be installed. So along with that, I always carry my trusty bag. It's really cool, and this will keep me from shaking Mary as I carry this thing around. Other than that, my legs are shaking. I hope they're not noticing. But within this, I've got 100-foot tapes. I got about 4 of them that I utilize. And then I have a level, a couple of screwdrivers. This is real basic, the way I do a site evaluation. When I go out, we're looking at the top view area, and at first, the client's going to show me, all right, this is the area we desire, we want to place the playground in. So we're looking at the area, and what I'll do is I'll say, okay, how do you see it placed out based off the top view design that you see here? They're like, oh, I want it this way or that way. I'll be like, great. So I'll grab a screwdriver, I will grab a 100-foot tape, I will hook it in, and I'll lay it into the ground in one corner, and then I start to work my way around, creating a border of where the playground's going to go. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for things that might be in the way. Looking for a fence, a rock, a boulder, a building, a pool, a patio. Anything that may be in the way to prevent me from installing within these particular dimensions. And on this layout, this dimension is 31 by 44 and some change, so we'll go with 31 by 45. So if it looks good and there's nothing contending with it, we can actually install the playground in that area. We will move on to elevation. So when you're looking at elevation, one of the big things, I'm sorry, I don't want to trip over this wire, but one of the big things that people don't notice is it's deceptive to the eye when you go 30, 40, 50 feet in one direction, and it could drop maybe just 2 inches, or it could end up dropping 3 or 4 feet or 2 feet or whatever the case may be. So I'll stand typically at the highest point and I'll look, and sometimes it'll crown out. We'll have different slopes in different areas, and the playground will need to be installed that it's a certain height off the ground. And it'll be very important that as we're running 30, 40, 50 feet, that doesn't drop more than probably about 6 inches overall. So when I'm doing a site evaluation, I've got my outline, I grab another 100-foot tape, and then what I'll do is I'll actually go to the highest point, I'll anchor it in the ground, I just draw the tape across to the lowest point, I make it really simple. Then I get my level. So this really isn't a super professional way of doing elevation, okay? So I'll just let y'all know that. I'll basically set it on top of this. So I'll have the line out. I'll set it on top of the line. I'll be 30, 45 feet down. and I'll just pull it up into where this becomes level. And so most of the times what I do, because I'm real high speed, of course, is I'll mark an area on my leg and I'll be like, okay, it's this high. You know, so from there, after I notice it's this high, I get my other anchoring. This is more of a vertical tape, or one that's actually got a little, doesn't flop around. And then I'll measure. Okay, well, here we are at my leg, and I'm 2 feet off the ground, 45 feet away. And what, if that's the case, then what we want to do is maybe redesign. We need to maybe move the playground. We need to talk about other options, or particularly, or I should say grading, retaining walls, this type of thing. But if it's less than 6 inches, we should be good to go within the space, and also measure the width as well. And then from there, we'll move on to access points. So for access points, and I'm going to try to slow down a little bit because I'm probably talking really fast, but access points are something that a lot of people don't think about. When you're out on a playground, you're going to go out to install it, and you're going to go through an entire neighborhood. Sometimes there's bends and turns and curves that a semi cannot get into. And this is a very important thing, is that the big rig that's going to be bringing the equipment needs to be able to get in and get out. And then you have to have a staging area to where you're going to place the equipment. And this is probably the hardest part, is where are they going to back up to? Where are they going to do a turnaround? And can they actually get out of the area? So I'll check that, and I'll actually drive the street and everything like that. I'll take a bunch of pictures if need be. Sometimes it's a lot more complicated than just a neighborhood. You're working with apartment complexes that really do have some hairpin turns, and other areas as well. Thank you for that, Dean. And so from that access point of unloading the area into the staging, you'll want to be able to access the actual installation site. So let's say I pull up to an area outside of an HOA or homeowners association, and we drop the playground here, but I've got to travel 25, 50, 75 feet or 100 yards, depending on the area. I need to be able to access, going through there, the Bobcat. So the Bobcat needs to be able to drill the holes in the ground, and if I can't get the Bobcat in there and I can't get the equipment in there, then we may need to think about redesigning, relocating. We may need to move a fence, move a boulder, cut a tree down, whatever the case may be. So in closing, this is kind of just a real general overview. You want to make sure that the border and the outline of the playground is going to fit, that it's going to fit within your elevation drop. And then last, the access points from entering the neighborhood and getting out for the semi, and then also from the staging area to where the installation is going to take place. That's just a couple of tidbits on site evaluation for commercial playgrounds. Thank you, Dave.